Hello everyone, I'm Humphrey Chineye Otsolo and the designer of the four algebraic games. So the rationale for the four algebraic games we discussed here. The four algebraic games, that is algebra evaluation that game, algebra mathematics game, algebra factorization card game, and algebra simplification card game. They were designed particularly to motivate students to solve problems in four major aspects of algebraic expressions, including expansion of algebraic expressions of the form A, bracket open, B plus C, bracket close. The second one, expansion of algebraic expressions of the form bracket open, A plus B, bracket close, bracket open, C plus D, bracket close. Then the third one is factorization of algebraic expressions. And the fourth one is simplification of algebraic expressions. Using these games boosts the students' interest in solving problems that involve algebraic expressions in a playway method. The games also enhance the students' critical thinking ability, arouse the team spirit in them, foster fair competition, and informally expose them to mathematical vocabulary such as factors, indices, evaluation, expansion, factorization, simplification, vertical lines, horizontal lines, and diagonals. The first game is algebra evaluation that game. Now, we're going to see the steps. We're going to see the description of this game, algebra evaluation that game, and also the rules or the steps we can use to play this game. So, description of the game. This game is used for expansion. It's used for the expansion of algebraic expressions of the form A, bracket open, B plus C, bracket close. That means if you have algebraic expression whereby there is a term outside the bracket and there are two terms within the bracket. So you need to remove the brackets. So when you have algebraic expressions of this nature, then you can make use of you can make use of the algebra evaluation that game. So the game board, let's make some descriptions about the game. So the game board or that board, you can see that in figure 1. You can see that in figure 1 here. This is the game board. Then this is the pointer. Then this is the record board. This is the main thing, the game board. So was made with circular quarter plywood measuring 60 centimeter in diameter and 188.6 centimeter in circumference with a shaded inner concentric circle showing a non-darting area, that is non-scoring zone, and the darting zones are sectoral spaces, the partitions, that is different partitions there within the circle, they are called sectors. The different partitions are sectors. So those different sections are called darting zones. For the students' improvised version of this type of game, you can use cardboard paper or the cardboard instead of the board or the plywood. The 8 darting zones contain 8 algebraic expressions of the form, as I've mentioned earlier, where A is the constant term outside the bracket, which must be used to multiply the terms inside the brackets to remove the brackets. So the B is the first term in the bracket, while the C is the second term in the bracket. So the rationale or the brain behind this game or making the dart zone up to 8 is because the players will have to always be in even number, either in twos or in fours. So that's why the dart zones are into 8 places so that they can share it evenly or equally. So the game also features pointer, which I've mentioned earlier, measuring 15 centimeter long, which is used to dart the algebraic expressions on the dartboard. Finally, the game has a record board, which I showed you earlier, for recording the student scores after each play. Now, how to play the algebraic or algebra evaluation that game. This game is played by 2 to 4 players and a judge, that's a teacher or the instructor. Materials for playing the game are dartboard containing 8 algebraic expressions of the form A bracket open B plus C, then close the bracket. The second bracket there is a mistake, so the second bracket there is not supposed to be there. So a pointer used for playing on the algebraic expressions on the dart zones, and a record board for recording the solutions after solving the problems in the dart zones. So the players throw the pointer in turns at the dartboard and expand the affected algebraic expressions on the dartboard. So the winner is the player who got the highest score on the record board at the end of the fixed time corresponding to the fixed round. So just like the diagram here, so the students who will be playing, the players will position themselves some meters away from the dartboard or from the paper, depending on the improvised way the students can make use of it. So the students position themselves away from the board, then they begin to throw or they begin to dart. So anybody that throws on the dartboard and the student is able to throw on a particular algebraic expression, then the student has to solve that algebraic expression, provide the answer. Then if you get the answer correct, the student scores 2 points. Then if the student is not able to get the correct answer, the opponent will solve it and get bonus mark, and that bonus mark is 1 mark. Then you play the game in turns. Your opponent or the second player plays. So that is how the players will play until the set time is due. Then the game ends. So the other set can also come to play. So it's a very interesting game for students to solve algebraic expression of that nature. The next one is algebraic mathematics game. So this particular one has a game board. It also has tokens. It has factor board like the one down here, factor board, where there are different factors. While the ones on the board, the game board, those ones are the solutions. That means if you expand with the factors, you get the solution, which are the expanded form, and most of them here are in quadratic form. That means having x raised to power 2. So describing the game, how does this game work? The algebraic mathematics game is used to expand algebraic expressions of the form. Now you have a plus b, then c plus d. You have to expand, just like the factors we have here, x minus 4, then we have x minus 2. So you can now expand x minus 4 like a plus or a minus b, then c and d. So you take these ones as a and b, then c and d. Now, the game board, which you can see in the figure there, was designed with a 50 centimeter by 100 centimeter rectangular quarter plywood containing 45 algebraic expressions, that is in a play zones, whose solutions will be in the form of A plus B, then C plus D, where A, B, C, and D are different terms. They are representing different terms. The rationale for having numerous play zones is to encourage multiple play turns and to give room for many horizontal lines, vertical lines, and even diagonal lines, which are the strategic directions of of scoring in the game. The materials for playing the game include a factor board. You can see that in figure 7, containing all factors or rules of the equations in the game board. And a game board, you can see that in figure 4, the 8th there is an arrow housing all play zones containing the solutions. 40 tokens of 2 different colors are used in playing the game. You can see that in figure 5, yellow, card is yellow, and figure 6, purple. These tokens are to be divided between the 2 players. Then for each player, 1 token of each of the 2 colors is used as a factor marker. That means what you use to mark the games before you can play, while the remaining 19 are used as tokens. So what that means, if you come here, these are the factors. Now, the first player will place his factor marker here. That is a card, maybe like in x minus 4. Then the second player, player B, will place his or hers here. Then the first player plays. That means the first player now, which is player A, will multiply x minus 4 times x minus 3. Then whatever answer the first player gets, the first player places his token on top of these solutions. Then after that one, the second player, which is player B, will remove his factor marker and leave player A's factor marker in his position. Then the new position, the person has to be strategic. You are looking for another factor that's going to give you a solution that will help you to win at the end of the game, which I'm going to show you how you can win in this type of game. Now, you see that these tokens are to be divided between the two players. For each player, one token of each of the two colors is used as a factor marker, while the remaining 19, that means each of them shares 2020. Use one as a factor marker, use the remaining 19 to be playing your game, so that when you multiply, you now play, when you multiply and get the answer, you now place you are the remaining, because there should be about 19 remaining. Already you have used one as your factor marker, you use one of those 19 and place on your answer. Then that's how you'll be placing it. Let's see how it goes. Now, the rules for playing the game. The game commences as a player A puts down his factor marker and B's factor marker on his choice factor board. Yeah. So the product of these factors informs the placement of a game's token. That you can see that in figure 5. For example, if player A positions his factor marker on x minus 4, player A positions on the first factor x minus 4, and player B's factor marker, because that will be the work of player A to position the two on x plus 3. Then player A will put down a game token on x raised to power 2 minus x minus 12. That means that is the solution. When you expand x minus 4 times x plus 3, you get that solution. So player A will place his token on that solution. Then it will now be the turn of player B. Then player B takes his turn by moving his factor marker. While the factor marker of player A is still in place, player B will remove his own or her own factor marker to another position strategically, because you are targeting something, because you want a situation whereby after solving your problem, you get a solution that will yield you to be that will make you to be a winner at the end of the time. So how do you become a winner? Now we see that to another factor on the factor board, say x minus 1, while A's factor marker remains in place. Now B expands x minus 4 and times x minus 1 and gets the result as x raised to power 2 minus 4x plus 4. Then places his game token on x raised to power 2 minus 5x plus 4. Now the game continues until each player moving only his or her factor marker and placing a game token on the corresponding product on the game board until a winner is decided. What it means that when a player succeeds in placing 4 game tokens in a row consecutively, that means either vertically, as you are solving strategically. You don't just pick any factor on the factor board. You are thinking, which of the factors will I pick together and multiply to give me a solution that, as I am playing the game, they will line up maybe vertically or line up diagonally. Either they line up horizontally or line up vertically or line up diagonally. Once you succeed in playing the game, putting your factor marker or putting your token on the game board, and you're able to get about four cards line up on the game board, you have won. So that's how it works. It's a very interesting game. The next one is algebra factorization card game. So this one is another type of game that the students can use to motivate themselves, spark their interest while solving algebraic expression, more especially the one that is connected to factorization. Now, this is a sample of factorization here. So this is, you have something like this. You have 2x minus 3xy. Then you now factor out 3x. Then you have 3x outside. 3 divide 12x to give you 4. I mean 3x divide 12x to give you 4. Then 3x divide minus 3xy will give you x will cancel x, and the y will 3 will cancel 3, remaining y, then y is there. Now the answer there is 3x bracket open, 4 minus y bracket close. So that is the solution. So that's what you'll be doing here, but you are going to do it in the form of game. So how does it work? How does that work? Then that's what you are going to see here, how it works. Then getting to know about this game. The algebra factorization card game, you can see that in figure 8, which we just passed, is used to factorize algebraic expressions. The materials for playing this game are 5 centimeter by 10 centimeter cardboard papers in 3 colors. The first for the algebraic expressions to be factorized, that's the first color in the game board, 50 centimeter by 50 centimeter, that is in figure 9, tan color. The second for the first player, the first one is for the game board, the second one is for the first player, while the third one is for the first player, the second player, and the third for the second player solution card. So green color. The game board consists of 25 algebraic expressions to be factorized. There are 25 algebraic expressions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Now, the game board consists of 25 algebraic expressions to be factorized. Each of the algebraic expressions is in a rectangular box. Beneath each box containing an algebraic expression to be factorized is an empty box. You see empty box here. This is empty box. Beneath each of those algebraic expression you need to factorize, you have empty box. Now, for receiving the solution which is factorized algebraic expression. Now, can I play this game? To start the game, the first player works out the answer to each question mentally. You check the answers. The first player the first player can be choosing maybe with a die. You can use a dice to choose the first. You can use a coin, so that one person can choose the tail, the other person can choose the head. Then you now decide who will be the first player. Now the first player we do was start the game. The first player works out the answer to each question mentally or on a paper. Look at all the algebraic expressions there to factorize. Write it on the solution card. You have your solution card and places it in the box under the matching question. You will be strategic. You don't just solve anyhow. You will not just solve randomly. You solve strategically. You target what you are going to solve. If I solve this one, my opponent solves the other one and blocks me. My opponent is going to hinder me from winning. So as you are solving, you are watching the particular solution that is somehow they are connected, so that as you are factorizing, you are putting your cards together, so that if you are able to put them together without your opponent coming to solve those ones you have solved, you are already a winner. So the player who fills any 5 boxes first with correct answers vertically, horizontally, or diagonally wins the game. I told you earlier that when you are solving this type of mathematics using this game, you'll be introduced to new vocabularies like vertically, horizontally, and diagonally, even when you have not started learning something like geometry, telling you the benefits of a game. So the next one, which is the third game, is algebra simplification. That's the fourth one, algebra simplification card game. Now the algebra simplification card game is numbered 1 to 20. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 times 5 is 20. So you have this as your game board, then you have this as a game card, then you have this as a the area where you record, that's the record board. Now, how about this game? How do we play the game? Now, the algebra simplification card game is used for simplifying algebraic expressions. The materials for designing the game include a 40 centimeter by 50 centimeter quarter plywood game board with 20 non-simplified fractional algebraic expression. The game's challenge for the students, that's what the 20 is all about, placed on a separate play zones. That is 20, 5 centimeter by 10 centimeter, there's a small error here, play cards numbered 1 to 20, where the students will solve the problems and play on the corresponding play zone, and a record board, that is figure 14, where the scores are recorded. I said earlier this is an error, so you can jettison that. Now, I can play this game. How do you play this game? To begin the game, the players shuffle and share equally. The reason for shuffling, so that everything will be fair. There'll be nothing like cheat. So you shuffle it because it will be numbered 1 to 20 to correspond to the 20 problems on the game board. So you have to shuffle it so that it will not be that I am solving the easiest problem on the game board. It will be shuffled so that everything will be mixed up. So the players shuffle and share equally the play games card or the play or game cards You can see that in figure 13, red color. Each player selects a card, solves the corresponding problem on the game board, and scores 2 marks for a correct answer. If incorrect, the opponent has a chance to solve and score. The bonus mark for answering your opponent's question is 1 mark, while the full mark for solving the one that is for you is 2 marks. So the time for answering your opponent's question is 30 seconds. Each player, remember, the time for answering your own question is 1 minute, while the time for answering that of your opponent, if your opponent is not able to answer the question correctly, you help the person out. As you help the person, you have to take 1 mark from your opponent as they pay to what you have done. So each player has a minimum time of 1 minute, and the round ends when the last player finishes his or her card. The winner is determined by the cumulative score, and the aim is to enhance students' interest in algebraic expression. Thank you so much.